The parallels between actual crypto and this business are the business version of pump and dump meme coin.
Have you guys ever been in a group chat like these? That's basically what this is. This community is a group chat. And basically once a day, somebody will be like, hey, what do you guys think about XYZ coin? Is Huck to a coin going to go to the moon?
Don't you love that on this type of listing too, they're like proof of funds required? The person who has $1.1 million is not shelling it out for this.
Shouldn't the asking price not be in dollars, though?
Said Acquisitions Anonymous.
Hello, another episode of Acquisitions Anonymous.
We don't have 100% beard anymore. Hey, Michael here. Welcome to Acquisitions Anonymous, Internet's #1 podcast about buying, selling, and investing in small businesses. Today, we dug into a deal that celebrates that Bitcoin broke $100,000 for the first time since it was started. And it is a cryptocurrency signals trading platform that we either hated or we loved or something in the middle. So stick around. We'll dig into it and tell some funny stories about crypto as well. And you can figure out what we thought about it. Here you go. Hey, everybody. If you've listened to the show, you've probably heard us talk about franchises. While franchises can be a great path to business ownership for the right person, like there's a lot of pitfalls, and it's important to be really careful, as there are certainly good franchises to be in and bad franchises that you don't want to be in. Connor Gross is a friend of the pod and a resident expert on franchises. And Connor not only owns and operates his portfolio of multiple franchises, but he's also a franchise consultant and helps others work through, well, picking the right franchise for them. So as he's sponsoring today's episode, everyone should totally click in the show notes below to join Connor's newsletter and attend one of his Gateway to Franchise Ownership workshops. If you're ready to move and move quickly, schedule a call with Connor and his team today. Okay, guys.
Icebreaker. Who of the four hosts owns any Bitcoin at all? Heather.
Zero.
Mills.
0.
0.1 Bitcoins for
Not
me.
right now.
Michael.
Oh, man. I in the past, yes, but right now, no. I owned so much Bitcoin when it was $1,100.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was good times.
There is a text mess or a Twitter DM thread when I used to live in Denver. This would have been in like 2012. One of my friends in Denver, his name's Mark. He does listen to the podcast. Shout out, Mark. Sent me a Twitter DM. He's like, hey, we should do this Bitcoin thing. Like, we should get some miners. And like, I was like the techiest person he knew. So he texted me, I think. And he was like, let's do it. Like, we could be partners. And I was like, nah, sounds stupid. Like what I texted him, I was like, I don't think, like, it's already run up a lot. Like, I don't think, this is worth getting into. And it's like the most painful thing. It's like, this is the 8 or 9 figure text thread that I just totally whiffed. It's just unbelievable.
I look back on all of my cryptocurrency experiments, like we were all sitting at home during COVID and just like buying monkey JPEGs, and I look back at it and I made a shit ton of money just buying Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin and doing nothing. And I lost in everything that wasn't that. Like if I bought NFTs or I minted NFTs or, signed up, there was that one platform where like you could like use cryptocurrency to like give people kudos and like a copy of Twitter. I don't know if you guys remember that. I put money into that, lost money, but like I made so much money just buying cryptocurrency and doing nothing. That was the whole strategy.
Did you see the Hawk Tua girl just had that scam? It's like $50 million. She came out with her own coin.
So
Who
I'm
would
in some
buy
DMs
something
about
like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, so she pumped and dumped the whole thing, or whoever is running her, basically running her, pumped and dumped it. Like, I think she genuinely, I saw the thread on it. I think she genuinely doesn't think that she pumped and dumped it, but I also genuinely think she has no clue what people are doing in the background. Yeah. And I'm in some DM threads with like some people that don't necessarily wear tinfoil hats, but they're maybe like aluminum foil. And, and like, they're like, yeah, everything you see, you should just assume Hawk Tua, she was manufactured down to the original clip. Like it was all orchestrated. People using bots to get that first clip to go viral. She very quickly had a podcast afterwards and like a merch store. Like it happened all so quickly. You're like, really? Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's the whole thesis with the aluminum foil hat people is she's telling the truth. She didn't know she was rug pulling everybody for $50 million, but the people running her definitely knew they were doing it.
So I found my Bitcoin thread. Do you want to hear it? This
Yes.
is absolutely the most painful thing I've ever read still. This is dated July 8th, 2013 from my friend Mark. Bill, side venture for you. I buy a Bitcoin miner, miners in quotes, a Bitcoin miner. You run it and we split any profits. It may not make any money, but it would be a good story. Thoughts? I said, not sure Bitcoin mining is nearly as profitable as it used to be. The price has come down. Bitcoin price is now all the way down to $60. He goes, well, anyways, you were the only one with the tech wherewithal to make it worth it. I guess, do you have any other ideas? And we proceed to talk. That's July 2013. Then he texted me again, November 2013. Dude, I told you we should have gotten into Bitcoin. You were too worried about tangible products instead of imaginary currencies. And I said, damn, you were right. You sent me that at $60 and now it's closer to $300. He replies to me, let that be a lesson for next time. And then both of us did nothing.
So there's an interesting, I don't know if you guys looked at it. One of the most successful venture funds of all time is like this 2014 or 2013 vintage founders fund. Vintage was like $180 million fund. Basically, all the guys did was raise money. They wrote 2 or 3 like little small checks. This is Peter Thiel's fund. And then they just took the rest of the fund and they put it all into Bitcoin and they just did nothing. That was the whole fund. So anyway, I don't know the exact stories on that, but I thought that was just a good story. Maybe a lesson learned.
Wow.
So why are we talking about crypto?
Oh, well, Bitcoin just reached $100,000. So you know what that means. It's definitely a top. Like when you see people this excited, it's definitely a top. So if you could short Bitcoin right now, there's an inverse Bitcoin ETF. Go buy that because it's definitely happening. Because we go through this hype cycle. It just goes like this on Bitcoin. It takes about 18 to 24 months for people to remember that Bitcoin reached all-time highs because it crashes. They have to forget the crash afterwards, and then they buy again, and the hype cycle like continues. So we're at the height of one of those. So now's the time to short it. But because it reached $100,000. I brought a deal that is a cryptocurrency trading signals service that is for sale out of New York. So can I tell you about this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So it is on businessesforsale.com and it is listed by BIAC, BIAC commercial, whatever that means. So it is a leading cryptocurrency trading signal service for sale from New York, United States. They're asking $1.1 million for it. Sales revenue is $250,000 to $500,000 a year, and it cash flows $250,000 to $500,000 a year. The current owner started this business in September 2021 from the ground up by himself. With no previous business or marketing experience, being only a crypto trader, he has developed an incredibly successful business, which is crying out, they say, for a new ownership with marketing and business growth experience to take this to the next level. The business provides trade signals over Telegram to a group of over 1,000 members. Subscription plans range in price from $50 per month to up to $750 for lifetime access. In addition to this, the owner has written an interactive trading course where members pay $995 for lifetime access. This continues to make sales consistently. Payments for all services are made either by crypto or card. Since the beginning, he has built up over 140,000 active Twitter followers, 14,000 on Instagram, and more than 30,000 in his free Telegram group, which are great audiences to promote to. The business is considered an influencer in the crypto space and boasts one of the best success rates of the leading crypto signal services. The owner has also coded a game-changing indicator, which has one of the highest, if not the highest win rate in all of the crypto markets. This is a high-profit business with negligible overheads, giving a net profit in the region of 95% of turnover.
Oh my God, Michael, there's so much I want to say.
For those of you that are
Already.
longtime listeners, that is one of a net 95% net margin is one of Bill's love languages. He has more than the normal man. But anyway, okay, so there's 3 more paragraphs and then we should go. The current owner is an active trader, and his main reason for sale is he is struggling to keep up with the promotion and admin side of this business, and he lacks the experience to take this to the next level. He has decided to focus more on trading, which is what he does best, and he has grown the business from nothing up to a high 6-figure turnover business during a crypto bear market. Of course, the business follows market cycles, but someone with the time and expertise to market the business further could easily make this a $100,000 per month business. If you analyze historical market cycles, 2024-25 will most likely see the next crypto bull run, and is a perfect time for a new owner to market into this. The owner is not interested in giving shared ownership of the business and is looking for a full buyout. Proof of funds and completion of the NDA will be required. The owner is happy to stay on for agreed upon period to assist with the handover. This business can be run from home, Bill. Businesses in quotes. Okay. Bill's head's about to explode. So let's all take a deep breath.
Who wants to be this guy's exit liquidity? I mean,
3, 2, 1, go, Bill.
The parallels between actual crypto and this is like the pump and dump, the business version of pump and dump meme coin. I mean, he spends half the thing talking about how this is like the best opportunity ever, and the other half of it talking about how he wants nothing more to do with it, requires a full buyout, and this is the best time for you to buy it. Like, he is dumping this on you. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, for $1 million. Also,
go ahead, Heather.
Can't someone like this? It seems like this would be a small amount for $1 million. What his asking price is for someone that's so successful at trading crypto.
Also,
why is
if
that?
your indicator were this good, delete this webpage and just trade crypto and make $100 million. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
There's something though about the content side of this that is really interesting to me though. Like, this is probably catnip for this audience, right? 140,000 Twitter followers and 14,000 on Instagram and this Telegram. Like, I'm not saying there's any validity to the service offering or the content offering, but I bet it flies off the shelves like clockwork, and it's highly correlated to just rapid changes in price, either up or down, right? As it goes down, people are like, maybe I should buy. And then they buy the course.
Have you guys ever been in a group chat like these? That's basically what this is. This community is a group chat. And basically once a day, somebody will be like, hey, what do you guys think about XYZ coin? Is Huck to a coin going to go to the moon? And then people will be like, yeah, no. And then you see like in real time, like the wisdom of the crowds being like, it's going to the moon. Let's all go in. And that's basically what this guy is doing, right? He's running this community, which like is basically like he comes up with these trade ideas and gets signals of trade ideas and then waits until he sees which ones like are getting momentum. And then they buy in early and they pump it up. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, hey, Michael here. I want to let you know that I'm hosting a conference. First time I've ever done it. And it's called Holdco Conference 2025. If you want to learn how to manage multiple businesses at once, how to incubate new companies, or how other Holdco owners and operators run their fleet of companies, then you should come to Utah next spring. We've got a ton of great speakers, including Walker Dybel, who wrote Buy Then Build and founded Acquisition Lab. Plus, we're hosting it at an all-inclusive mountain resort so you can hit the slopes at the end of the day. So please go to holdcoconference.com for your tickets and get 10% off with your discount AAPod. That's holdcoconference.com and use code AAPOD for 10% off. Now, back to the show.
Yeah, you create the momentum.
Yeah,
effectively.
Don't you love that on this type of listing too? They're like proof of funds required. The person who has $1.1 million is not shelling it out for this.
No,
but they want like a snapshot, a screenshot from your phone with a bank account that says at least $1.1 million. You know.
I mean, do we think like somebody who's made a lot of money from crypto buys something like this because they are passionate about it? I mean, money becomes pretty funny for two types of people: poker players and crypto people. They tend to have weird views of money, and to some extent, I always thought it was because poker players deal in chips so much that the money doesn't feel real to them anymore. But I think crypto is the same way. Like, Bitcoin isn't real dollars. You're kind of just like, well, I think it's worth X. Like, that's what it's trading for. Anyway.
Yeah, I would normally say that a business like this is inherently not very sellable, but there is probably somebody who has a ton of liquidity because of cryptocurrency. And even just the allure of, I can kind of by extension be a crypto influencer, I think somebody buys this thing. Hands down.
Shouldn't the asking price not be in dollars though?
Good point.
It's like 10
you
Bitcoins.
believe in the product so much. Yeah.
Right.
You know what? I think, guys, December Heather is my favorite Heather because the the year, Heather, you're like super nice. Like you're such a kind person. And like, I think the banks finally broke you.
They
like,
do.
I think finally you're just like, from last week's
exactly
episode and this one, you're just like, screw it. I'm going to let him have it today.
There's an arbitrary reset on January 1st.
Yeah, I'll be nice again. I will. But
all the deadlines just fall away.
Heather. This is great. So the other thing that freaks me out about this, right, is the sheer lack of ethics in this. So this is what would be called in gambling a tout, somebody who like sells their picks basically for like who's going to win, on Sunday. But like it says that they've built up as an influencer in the space, but then they're just straight up willing to sell it to you and, of course not disclose the sale. And there's all these people like gambling their own money based on the recommendations that are coming out of this influencer. And you don't even know who's behind it. I mean, it's like, this is crazy. Don't gamble money on the internet, people.
I did a YouTube video about kind of the origins of the stock market. And they originally started in coffee houses where people were trading like slips of paper around stuff. And it kept resulting in people like getting into fights and stabbing each other because they didn't have any rules. Feels like the same kind of wild west stuff going on here because there were so many scams when people got started, right? And of course the stock market's gone the other way now where it's arguably overregulated, but yeah, this reminds me of that where people have just gone back and recreated the 1600s with less coffee and fewer Dutch people involved.
But I think that fundamentally says why this business is succeeding. Maybe they're succeeding. I mean, it validates the need for something like this. There's so much information and so much noise in this space. So people look for an authority. And then if that authority tells them pay $750 for lifetime access, they're really willing to do it. And whether or not this person is giving good advice or bad advice, like I don't know anything about it, but I think there will always be demand for this type of authority in the midst of a bunch of noise. Can this business transition from this person or persona to another owner? Not so sure. Is there really any evergreenness to this content, or is it like, prices change and the whole model changes, or maybe technology changes, from underneath it, and now it's, the old content is less relevant? Those would be some of my concerns.
So I think the parallel here is what you see kind of in the, personal finance, personal investing, retail trader kind of space, right? And our buddy Matt Paulson, who has a jet, and I don't think any of us do. So he's doing really well. But basically the whole business is, creating and giving people information and then selling, ad space to people that want to sell touts, want to sell courses, want to sell stock trading ideas, want to sell conviction so they can go educate themselves to go make trades, right? And it's a great business. Like it's been around for the past 50 years. It's going to keep going on. It survived the transition from paper to fax to where we are today with purely digital. Like, I think the key thing there, Mills, is it has this underlying market where the people are trying to find alpha and are trading and looking for ideas and want to be told what to do. Like, I think that's not going anywhere. Whether it looks like this in long term, I don't know. But crypto basically is just mirroring what we're seeing with people trading their own book of stocks,
Yeah, I mean, it's a great business. I mean, it's 95% net margin. Like, people are selling people ways to get rich is a great business. I don't know if I want to be in that business.
Yeah.
Well, you have two things going on. You have that aspect of it, and then there's just like there's just so many scumbags in crypto. It's just horrible. It just seems like it's attracted all of these folks. And
I mean, it's anonymized, unregulated gambling, right? And like, let me be clear, like, I'm not like against crypto. Like, Bitcoin is super cool, Ethereum is super cool. Like, the whole concept of decentralized, permissionless money is super cool. The problem is that it is decentralized, anonymous, and a lot of really, really bad actors have thoroughly permeated the space.
Absolutely.
I'll never forget. We looked at a business to buy when I was with another firm, and they own this amazing business, a really, really amazing like municipal services business in California. Wasn't going anywhere. Increased regulation. Guy built the business from the ground up. It was just awesome. And they were getting out of the business. It was like making, I think, $5 or $6 million a year in EBITDA. And they were getting out because they were focusing more on crypto. And like in hindsight, he was probably really smart. You know, this was like 8 years ago. But it's an interesting, there's some interesting dynamics there that make me not want to touch it with a 10-foot pole.
I think the model here is really cool, right? Like these paid community businesses are very interesting when they work. And I think there's a lot of folks that are doing them. They're hard to scale though, right? Like you look at somebody like this, and I rarely feel like there are vibrant communities that get above this kind of 1,000-person threshold. And most of them tend to stop smaller than that. So like, Bill, how big is e-commerce Fuel? Like how many people are on that?
I think it's between 1,000 and 1,500 CEOs.
Yeah.
And that's it's a really good business.
Yeah. Great business, 10 out of 10 execution as well, from what it looks like. It's not easy.
Yes, 10 out of 10 execution. I would say that's different than this, though, because like the members of that community are engaged in building their own businesses, which is a long-term endeavor, right?
Yeah.
And, people are using their real names, which is critical. Andrew's really big on real names, disclose what business you're actually in. Like, you got to be who you are. That is the opposite of this business. Like, this is anonymous. This is, you're not building relationships with the other cartoon apes in the group, right? You're all just there trying to make money. People are probably washing out every day because they blow their bankroll, right? So the churn is probably way higher. Like, these are gamblers, or traders, by the way, is the nice word for gambler. So whenever you hear trader, just insert gambler. So these are traders and amateur ones at that, because they're getting tips from a Twitter account. And so they're going out of business all the time. So the churn here is probably crazy. And that's why, by the way, he's selling lifetime memberships, because he's got all the money. Versus ECF, like, it takes you a while. If you're going to churn, like, you go out of business slowly, right? But if you stay in business, you're in business for a long time. So the underlying dynamics of the membership here, I think, are very, very different.
100%.
Okay,
right.
So I'm thumbs down.
You guys hate this one, huh? All right, Heather, this is totally up your alley, right? You're very interested in this one?
Thumbs down. I don't want it to be near these people. They scare me.
Finance it with a SBA loan, probably.
No.
Are the banks taking cryptocurrency as collateral these days?
They are not. They are not.
Really?
In fact, they make fun of people sometimes behind their backs when they show crypto on their personal financial statement. Little known fact.
So that's interesting, as much as I've just been
Oh no, there's some on mine.
Right. But like, that seems not fair. Like a major crypto like Bitcoin or Ethereum, like, that's a real asset that can be liquidated. How different is it than a penny stock or a small cap stock?
I don't agree with it, but I'm telling you, when people show it on their personal financial statement and it's a reasonable amount of their total assets, you will get comments from the bankers, kind of, what kind of person is this?
Wow.
Is this serious entrepreneur? What are they doing? Or are they taking undue risk gambling? It's almost like, nobody wants to lend to someone who appears to have a gambling problem. It's almost a little bit of a yellow flag like that,
Interesting.
Whereas if you said, I have $500,000 worth of art or wine or something like that,
they would say you're amazing. So sophisticated.
or even, you're right, Mills, but even more directly, what if you had the same amount in a Bitcoin ETF in a brokerage account? They wouldn't even blink.
They'd probably be okay with that. That's right.
Yeah, because it's custody at Schwab, or
right.
Fidelity.
They just see a Schwab statement. It's fine.
Yeah. Yep. True.
So,
cool.
So actually, interesting advice. If you are trying to buy a business and you own a fair bit of cryptocurrency, you might either sell it for cash before you send in that financial statement, or you might, but if you still want the exposure, exchange it for ETF exposure when you're trying to close your deal, and then you can switch back to real crypto.
Yeah. Yeah. It will show better, whether fair or not. It will show better if you don't show a lot of crypto on your financial statement, at least in this day and age, like where we are right now. Maybe a couple of years from now, it'll be different, but still banks are pretty skeptical about someone who is trading, gambling, as you said.
Interesting. All right.
All right. Well, that'll do it for today's episode. I also hated this deal, but it's kind of like looking at a shark. I'm not really interested in sharks, but I appreciate the like elegance of what this guy put together, but also like it's a shark. So that's how I think about it. All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Do us a favor, go sign up for our newsletter. It's at aqanon.com. It's not a QAnon site. It's our website because acquisitions is hard to spell, but ACQUANON.com. Sign up for the newsletter and join the 4,000 other plus people who get spam from us. I mean, a newsletter from us every week. So see you guys next episode.